Once a month we run a cafe which we call the Allotment Cafe, and the idea of it is that we provide foods in it which are made from locally produced ingredients, particularly from allotments, and we encourage people to bring in their produce and swap it for our jams and preserves. And at our last cafe somebody dropped off this for us and a few other courgettes to go with it and a bit of other produce, and we gave them some jam and honey for it. So what do you do with a marrow like this? Well, I rather like these stuffed and roasted, and in the recipe we're going to do now, we're going to stuff this with some of our Tamworth bacon. There we have our bacon there from our Tamworth pig, and you will also need some bread to make into breadcrumbs. And then the other ingredients, very much up to you, but obviously something like onions to give it a bit of taste, and tomatoes from our greenhouse, and some fresh herbs. We are using sage, a bit of thyme and a bit of oregano, fresh from our herb garden. And finally, just to make sure that it doesn't dry out, but also to give it a little bit extra flavour, this is some of the pork fat from our Tamworth pig. Same source as the bacon, but we will add in a little bit of this to make sure that it's got a bit of flavour and it doesn't dry out. All those ingredients I mentioned a moment ago, other than the bread, which is now made into breadcrumbs, but all those ingredients went into the food liquidizer there, and they are now going to be mixed with the breadcrumbs to make the stuffing. I'm going to mix this together. Now you can use sausage meat if you want. We happen to be using our bacon because we have a reasonably good supply of our Tamworth bacon at the moment, but I'm going to add in to this a little bit of the pork fat, just to make sure that it's going to stay nice and moist once it goes into the marrow. Now, if you're doing this vegetarian, you can use instead of the bacon something like broad beans mashed up and a bit of cooking oil, but here goes with the bit of pork fat, like so. I'm just going to mix that in and get it thoroughly mixed up, and you can season it at this point as well with salt and pepper. Next job is to slice the marrow down the middle, like so. Now you can see the lots of seeds and so on in there, and what we're going to do is we're going to scoop them out, and you don't throw them away, you keep them and you stick them into a vegetable soup or a courgette soup, or if they're a little bit too big you can feed them to your livestock. We could give them to our goats or our hens, but make sure that absolutely nothing is wasted. As you can see, they are now scooped out. Now, the little idea I had was slice the bottom like that. That gives them a flat surface on the baking tray that they're in now and stops them wobbling around, particularly when you're adding the stuffing, and that's what we're going to do now. Here are the marrows now stuffed, and what we've done is we've added about half a mug of water into the tray just to get, again, to stop them from drying out. So these are now ready to go into the oven at 200 degrees centigrade for about half an hour. Marrow's now had half an hour in the oven, so we're going to check to see if it's ready. There we go. I reckon that's now ready for me to have my dinner.